Hey everyone, this is the Nips and Sips podcast show featuring me. I'm Dr. Jeremy Boyd and my usual partner in crime over there, Dr. Brandon Cruz. Today we're going to be talking more of a business discussion, but talking about whether we do a solo show or solopreneur as a practice owner, or assemble a team similar to the Avengers and get a squad to kind of help support your mission. But before I get too much into it, Brandon, how's it going?
Going well today, Jared. Thanks for the intro. This should be a fun show. I mean, you and I definitely have a lot of experience in really doing both. And I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, but we're going to give you some of our thoughts, some of our experience on this. Currently today, I'm in the office, so unfortunately, no drink. I'm doing some mentoring in our Verona office today. I want to give some time to the staff, so foregoing the rum or vodka or tequila I normally do, and I'll be sipping on some water.
There you
So
go.
good hydration day.
Yeah,
We'll just pretend it's vodka
there we
for the
go.
audience, and but that's what I'm working with today. What about you, Jay?
I mean, I usually don't drink alone, but I'm trying to maybe go golfing later. So I guess I'll keep
Oh,
it
you should
alive.
definitely start
Yeah.
drinking a lot if you're going
Yeah. It's a nice
golfing
big
later.
day outside. I haven't golfed in a while. I've been kind of grinding out. Me and Brandon have been teaching a lot over the weekends. Was it been like 4 or 5?
Yeah, it's been about what, 4 courses? No, 5 courses in the past like 7 weeks or something like that. It's been insane.
Yeah,
It's
and
been
they're both
good, great. We've had great
great.
turnouts.
Every
It's
single
been
one.
awesome to be able to reach so many PTs, but it does take some toll out of you
Yeah.
in a good way. But we're
Good way.
human.
And we got one more in a couple weeks.
Yep.
It's our flagship course, spinal manipulation. So figure I was like, all right, let me go play some 9 holes. It's
Oh, you're only getting 9 in today.
only 9. I keep saying I'm gonna do more. You keep telling me I need to go out there more, and just
Go do it.
a little bit
Enjoy
too
it.
much
Today's
going
supposed to be
on.
like 66. Probably the
I
last nice
know.
day of the year.
I know, it kills me. But they actually said it, and I was like, that's great, because I have a couple other things to do. Hopefully, starting up the second office soon. And
Nice. Yeah. Big
so
congrats to you there.
thank you for your
You're
guidance.
accelerating my pace on everything.
No. You just plow the road for me. I just
Yeah.
go right afterwards.
Well, you're actually doing, and this is going to be actually kind of well, another topic that we've talked about, owning a gym practice or having your own show. Not today's call, but I did the reverse. I started in a gym and went on my own. You started on your own going into a gym. So yeah, that's going to be another topic we'll talk about another time. But yeah, congrats to Jeremy and the process of him opening his second.
Thank you.
Big up to that.
The team, the wife, everybody who helped along. But yeah, I guess go back into my drink here. It's the pregame my little golf outing with. It's from Wallenpaupack Brewing Co. This is a group that my wife got. I guess she's an influencer. They sent her beer. I think she was supposed to do a picture with these drinks, but never got around to it. So I'm gonna give them a shout
We'll
out here.
screenshot
Yeah,
that part right there for you. Hold on. Let me screenshot this for you.
there we go.
How do I? There we go. All right. So now, okay, your screenshot. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, there you go. Your wife could continue to be an influencer.
There we go. And then now it's getting. They just wanted to post. Now it's getting over the airways here on our awesome podcast here. But it's Party Cove Session IPA, so a lighter beer, which is probably good. Kickstart my day, and I've never had it, and I will let you know my rankings as soon as I'm done pouring. Which is, this is a decent pour today. I'm drinking from my Squatters cup, which I'm pretty sure is a brewery inside of an airport, which that's automatically my favorite airport of all time. So more airports need breweries. That's, if I was ever president, that would be a requirement. But gonna let that head come down a little bit. But yeah, let's get chatting about things. I guess we both at one point started the solopreneur, practice. I think it's a big movement now and today, especially the cash-based realm. of, you're on your own, whether it's the concierge style, like house to house, which Brandon, I believe you did a little bit of, may be mistaken, and or you're in a gym and that sort of stuff, or you have your own place, but it's only you, no other employees. Brandon, yeah, why don't you talk about your experience? Because I think you dabbled in a couple of different styles of the solopreneur.
Yeah, and I have a feeling we might have to have a part two to this episode, but
With me.
there's no right or wrong, for PTs listening, it really is all about where you're at in life, what you want to be, and that goal is going to change and evolve, hopefully, maybe not. And if it doesn't, that's fine. I started honestly treating people in my parents' basement. Not
I didn't know
ashamed to
that.
say, came over. I had, my table, some mini bands, couple light dumbbells, and I was seeing a handful of people there, and part of that, I guess, kind of gave me some more confidence to do it on my own as well, though I was already thinking it. Then I went on to do, while I was looking for a place to go to, whether it was by myself or in a gym, I started doing some home visits. Patients wanted me to come see them. I was like, "Why don't I have a place yet?" And they were like, "Well, to come over and treat me." And I was a little hesitant and skeptical, especially a male. You go to a female's house, you don't know what's going to happen. I hate to say it, but you have to protect yourself as well. But regardless, got over that and did it. It was fine. Nothing ever happened in the negative term. And then I found a gym to go into, and I started one office in a gym, and then a couple months later had a second office. So I split my time between two gyms. So technically I had two offices within my first year of opening, and did that. And I was finishing residency. So I think part of the reason why people go out on their own, they want to do it on their own terms. Or maybe they think they're better than what the environment they're in, right? So you kind of have to have that, for lack of a better term, ego, or maybe confidence is a better word. So you tend to probably start off as a solo show.
Mhm.
Also, how many people, especially today's world, coming out with the $100,000+ of school debt, how many people have a bankroll to go, open up a brick and mortar and hire staff and everything? It's a higher risk in the beginning, especially when you don't know what you're doing. So you take that, those chances by yourself when you don't have to worry about other people.
Mhm.
So that was my initial. I'll talk about how I've evolved just personally over time to now where I'm trying to assemble a team, and I think that's just been more so a growth and I don't want to say pivot, but change. And okay, like I've gotten, I probably not, I don't want to say I've gotten as far as I can by myself, but I've gotten to a point where I would rather assemble a team and grow and train others and things like that. But I'll get into that a little bit. What about yourself, Jay?
Awesome story. I think that's a lot of people kind of go along that route there, but you've done it successfully while keeping up with education, growing a team and such and so forth. But we'll get into that in a minute. Yeah, me personally, it was more, I didn't see too many people on the side. I was fortunate enough to be in a great place right before I started my practice. I always had the idea. I think I did my first business plan when I was in senior year of high school. I made one, and then I tried making an idea to start a practice with a couple of my buds from PT school. It was not named Trifecta. It was actually Champion. And then I realized the guys up north Boston, and then Kevin Welk, theirs was also named Champion. So I had to cut that one out.
Say, depending on the time, Champion, well, now it's been around for a while, but I'd say it wasn't around in like 2013 or so. So I don't know at what point.
No, yeah. So this was, I made this. I remember I presented the idea in my bud's, house. We were staying there for the night in the summertime. I forgot why we were there. But I presented the idea to my other two roommates and that sort of stuff. So it had to be I mean, obviously I wasn't on social media of any sort, so maybe they started earlier than that, but it had to be 2011, 2012 is when I presented the idea, and it's gonna be like we all had different specialties and we all came in the one roof because I was already down like the specialty route. I
Mhm.
plant my flag in the sports specialty because that's what I wanted. And if you want to hop in with me, they could have done the other ones.
Mhm.
Um, so the concept reigned true just solo instead of having two other people with their own specialties. I took it upon myself, be a sports specialist, be an ortho specialist, and a manual therapy person. And that was and hence trifecta. So yeah, so I had some good mentorship. It was in a good company. But my passion while I was there was, I mean, I enjoyed treating everyone. I loved direct access. I was growing that in the company, but it still wasn't enough per se. It was like I get a couple here and there, but it was a standard, gen pop. So I didn't get as much direct access as I wanted, and sports people are like young kids, athletes, and that sort of stuff. So I can just feel in myself that that's what excited me most throughout the day. And when I got to the point where I was the top dog of a particular clinic, that's when I was like, all right, let's time to move on. Got lucky enough while I was just down in the Glassboro area where me and my bud were walking through, and he said he knew my goals, my ambitions, and he said he pointed to a place that for lease sign, and he's like, "What about there?" And called him up, and it was all history from there. But I spent, I guess, the first let's see, I started it really in September, but started practicing treating in December. And then I hired Cam till in I think September. So it's probably about a full year before I brought someone on board. And yeah, even with just and Cam's just, he's my right hand man. He helps me out with everything. So, still was kind of like a solo show from a clinical standpoint.
Yeah.
But I had to kind of value things as like what my original goals were, was like be the best PT in this entire area. I guess be the alpha of this area, and kind of view that versus what more can I give. I can help 1-2 people per hour and that sort of stuff, or I can help 3 people help 2 more people per hour, so it's 6 people per hour. There's like a good saying of like the time teller versus the clockmaker. Which one's more impressive, the person who can look up at the sky any moment and tell you what time it is exactly. That's an impressive skill, or someone who created the watch so that multiple people, hundreds of thousands of people, can tell time. So the more and more I taught, and being around passionate students and everything like that, made me kind of want to build a team and an environment which fostered learning and growth, similar to Brandon's experience. And the more and more I do that, and unfortunately, the more like I hear from my former students who are graduating and quitting jobs because it's just not as stimulating, not as much mentorship. It's not therapists focused in a sense, or patient focused. It's more about numbers and such and so forth. The more I'm driven to keep building, and hopefully having the same goal, same values as we do have now. But Brandon, what about, I know you want to kind of build up talking about having a team and such.
Yeah, I mean, especially, I think our arc is a little more unique. I mean, how many therapists, and it's not to discredit anybody, and not to saying that you have to go through the type of training that we did, but we went through a residency, did both our board certifications, both did a fellowship, right? So we're distinguished as clinicians, and I think part of our mission, both by starting our practice and going out on our own, was to provide a different level of care, patient-centered care, not solely driven by the numbers. Obviously, that's an aspect to business because, bottom line, you need to meet your bottom line. If not, you're going to be open, right? So I think people need to understand that as well when you go into business. Like, there's still that side of things. But we started with that emphasis of let's make this profession as great as it can be. And right now it's not. It's jaded. It's corrupt. It's There's a lot of things that are wrong with our profession. I'll be the first to admit it, and we wanted to change it. And I think, we tried to do that, solo, which is fine. Like, we had the emphasis on credentials, we had the emphasis on training, we had the emphasis on service, of one-on-one, on being the best in our area, and we built our names off of that. And I think a lot of people who want to go out on their own want to do that as well. But I think you reach a point where it's like you said, okay, I'm able to, you kind of tap out, you have a ceiling effect.
Yep.
You can only reach so many people. And then, the way our careers, went on, we started to teach. I think a lot of the reason why, I mean, we're 8 years strong, 7 go on our 8th year, whatever. We're still as motivated as ever. And I think it's our commitment to service and helping others and mentoring others that kind of keep that spark alive that a lot of others don't do. And by that, it's made us realize the importance of, I don't have to do this by myself. I probably shouldn't do this by myself. And hey, if I can make a good impact on other people, and other people share my vision or like what we're doing, and we help grow them, well, now we can help one person to 2 people, 2 people to 4 people, 4 people to 8 people, and it grows. Not only that, I mean, like you made that analysis or that comparison of the time maker versus timekeeper, and it's, there's only so many hours in a day, and when you're a business owner, like, you're only going to make money when you work, versus if you can grow a team. Well, I think you have a little bit more flexibility. Not only you yourself, but the people you hire have a little bit more flexibility, because there's always somebody hopefully there to pick up the load and slack when somebody needs off, or there's a family emergency, or whatever the case may be. And hopefully everybody understands, when it's your time, great, other people will step in, but you have to be able to, when somebody else needs a time, you have to step up too. So, I think assembling the team is more so where we're at now. And trying to grow and expand, but not grow so fast where we'll lose the ideals and the value of maybe some of the things that you're able to do when you are a solo show. Because there's different gifts and pros and cons to that as well.
Yeah, I think absolutely. There's been a couple practices lately, and of late, it seems like more and more practices are getting bought up, merged, and everything like that. Or it's especially in the network and reimbursement realm of New Jersey. It's like, what's the magic number of offices? Like 13,
10 or 12 or something like that.
That's
13.
the magic number to have a seat at the table to negotiate your reimbursement rate, which small places like us, we don't get that luxury. It's either you take it or you leave it. But you see a lot of these places in that, grand rush to get to that point. You start to see the loss of their values. Certain things like the patient went there originally, they're not leaving that practice because they gave them such good service, care, got the job done. And now over the years, you start getting patients that originally went there because something's starting to kind of fall apart, which is a shame. And, but that's it. It's growing and scaling appropriately. And it goes from a metric standpoint, but also from a team standpoint. I know I'm part of some mastermind groups of different businesses, and that's a lot of the main struggles of a lot of these businesses is like their employees and that sort of stuff. They're like, oh, either people quitting, taking off time or that sort of stuff. All these sort of struggles, and I haven't had too many of those issues, or actually really haven't had any. I'm like, when those conversations come, I'm just like, I have nothing to say, because of having such a great team. And as Brandon mentioned, it gives me the luxury and flexibility to be away and go overseas for a couple of weeks, and have complete faith that the people that are there, if you hire the right people and you train them the right way and you give them the flexibility, not micromanaging them, that they're gonna not only keep things well while you're away, but help the company flourish. So that's where I'm at, and it's again more enjoyable now for me versus like I had especially when I was a solopreneur, like the constant joy of I help, I help the patient fix themselves versus, back in the old school days, we used to be, I fix that patient, but
Mhm.
let's face it, patients are fixing themselves. And it's now more of a joy of seeing what the company has done for the community and all my therapists helping multiple people and that sort of stuff. So it's a different type of a joy in that sort of sense. And being able to watch your clinicians and your staff, everybody, even your front office and that sort of stuff grow from, their clinical skills all the way through personally. I get more joy in that than, just working by myself. And on top of that, bouncing off ideas off of people, having someone to talk to all day.
Yeah.
I mentioned before, this is the thing I was telling you over the weekend and that sort of stuff, like the little luxuries of, being able to take like an hour and that sort of stuff. When I first started the business and that sort of stuff, we were on the second floor. My bathroom wasn't connected directly to my office. So, and I just always had the idea that, if I heard someone going up the steps, I was like, they're coming to see me. I got to be there, greet them and that sort of stuff. So, I'd go most of the week without going to the bathroom while I was at work. And it was, brand now it's like I would start at, 6:30, 7 o'clock, being at the office, be there till 9, 10 o'clock. And those are some long days. And every time I was in there, I just hear someone going up the steps. I was like, shit, come on. try to speed up the process. And, that's like a little luxury that you just don't think about. It's probably more neurotic than I had to be at that point. But it's little things like that, is, having that, being able to relax a little bit. And, taking some hats off. And then hopefully ultimately, being the person or the job that you really want to do. So me, I love the idea of creating buildings, seeing the company grow and do unique things, and also still have a passion for treating and mentoring. Versus what I used to do was, the billing side of things, this, scheduling side of things, the expense
Financial
side of
side of
things,
things,
the
treatment, everything.
bookkeeping. So all those, and it's just like when you can build a team, if you have the right team on your bus here. That's a Jim Collins thing. Really great book, Good to Great and Built to Last. It's all his books, but he always says get the right people on the bus. If you have those people, you can start shedding some of those hats, and help yourself out. So that's the best part.
Yeah, I mean, you look back and you tell a funny story, and it's it's true. And we look back and say, oh, we were probably more neurotic than we had to be. But in the moment of time, it's like you're in survival mode, you're in growth mode. Like every patient not to say not every patient matters now, but it's different. Like you're trying to get a warm body through that door.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's a virtual patient and you're doing an online thing, which is becoming big now, or you're doing a traditional hands-on brick and mortar type deal, or some hybrid in the gym, and etc. um a lot of what we talked about today, I think, is really about growth, about evolutions within yourself as a person, as a clinician, and as a business owner. And not just you, but me as well, or anybody out there listening to this. You may start off with one idea or motion, and it's okay to I'm not trying to say sell out or anything, but it's okay to evolve, and to, as long as you keep your principles at play, evolve into different roles. Being able to grow and build a team is really the true definition of a business, versus being a solo show is you're a solopreneur and you really don't own a business, you own a job. And if you're not there working every waning minute, and if not avoiding going to the bathroom so you can treat, is that really what a business is about?
Yeah.
whether that, maybe it's a side hustle. I don't think there's anything wrong with opening up in a gym. I did it. I had two. Jeremy's about to do it. It all depends where you are. And, maybe you close it after a couple of years, or maybe you grow it into something else, or whatever the case may be. I mean, that depends on what type of vision or model you have, or where you are at in life. When you're younger, if you're a gym rat, maybe you like, working at, 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. and being around the guys or girls lifting it and treating that. And, you get to sleep in a little later, and your hours are shifted. Maybe you're a morning person, you hit the morning crew. So, regardless if it's that, or being a solopreneur on, virtually as well, whether it's a virtual visit or some type of programming and things like that. I mean, at some point there's some type of scale you may want to evolve into, and that's okay. Owning a business is I'm realizing it's chapters, it's levels. I didn't realize it before. I thought it was just, go balls to the wall, and something will happen. And I get frustrated or impatient when things didn't happen as fast as I thought they should.
Yeah.
And then you take a step back and things somehow begin to, work out, and you begin to realize it's levels. It's about enjoying the process.
Yep.
And not trying to reach that destination, because that destination is always going to get pushed further out, especially if you're motivated enough. I mean, you're going to set a goal, you're going to reach it, and you're not going to be like, okay, I'm cool with that. You're going to extend out another goal, or push that out and push that out and push that out. So, it's really about evolution. And, that may go from assembling a team to solopreneur, back to assembling a team. Like there's no right or wrong. Understanding where you are at in life is probably the biggest thing, and where you want to go. Jeremy and I have built towards it. We've both been in business now 5-6 years, and we've grown. I mean, even when we look at our courses, our first course had 2 people in it.
Yeah.
We had 22 the other day.
Yeah.
In a few short years. And for me at least, that's been like, actually our past handful of courses have had like 19, 20 people in it.
Yeah.
Which is like, wow,
this whole cycle of them.
And what'd you say?
The whole cycle that we've been in, that 4 or 5 courses in the last 7 weeks.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, we've come this far, and we're kind of starting to see, all right, all those seeds we laid down are starting to sprout.
Yeah.
And it just makes us want to, go help more people. And I think it goes back to that point in the beginning, to avoid burnout, to really enjoy what you do. You're probably gonna need to, have some type of service involved, whether it's servicing your community as a business owner, or servicing others in your profession, or both, or letting them kind of cross over and flow into each other. And I think that's how you keep going.
Yeah, I think a good quote, it might be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He was just like, you're not burned out. I'll have to look it up. Like, you work from 8 to 4, you're not burned out or anything. You're just uninspired. Yeah. I can't remember it exactly, but that's true. It's like one of the students that were taking our course this last weekend, he was asking me about that, almost trying to probe me to say, pick bad things of, the last couple of years. I'm like, I am just as passionate and energetic as I was when I first came out, if not more so. Now that I have like some knowledge base to build off of things, and I can get creative and have higher level thoughts, especially conversations with you and my staff. It's even more passionate and that sort of stuff. So, again, it is a process, and those sort of things is, my biggest piece of advice, let it happen almost naturally. Don't try and force it, don't try and, all right, I got my mission originally was like build an empire, that was the high school idea. But just let it happen naturally. From team building, if you're at a situation where you have someone, whether it's a student or someone you met, and they're just so damn good, and you make a position for them. You have such a good opportunity, whether it's in a gym or in a town, to start up a place. Make it happen, and just let it happen naturally. These opportunities, whether it's fate or whatever it may be, come to you. Take advantage of them. They very rarely go south on you. And worst case scenario, it does. My uncle, he forget, he was always on like CNN, and he was a big hot shot in the mortgage world. But he was, years ago, or before I started my business, he gave me the advice. He's just like, start up your own thing. He's like, the worst case scenario is just you go back and you work for someone. Especially in our profession, we're still in the point where, I mean, there's more demand for us than there is supply. Do I think that's always going to be the case with these larger programs coming out, hybrid programs? No, which says need to make yourself more and more unique to the consumer. But for now, for sure, it's like, again, what's the worst that happens? You shelled out a couple grand to start up a thing that you'll probably be very proud about, whether it works or not. And worst case is you go back, and at least, hey, you put it on your resume. I at least had the nuts to go out, start my own business. I ran it. I did everything. It may have not worked. Now I can definitely be a director of your small little clinic, because at least I had the experience to handle, 60, 80, 100-hour weeks. And that's the worst case scenario. You go and you blow 50 grand of all your life savings and your spouse's life savings. That's probably a little bit more egregious, but
Still bounce back from that though.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, what's 50 grand compared to the 150, 200 grand you came out of school with? It's really no different.
So we're gonna finish with that something, because two things. What's the worst thing that could happen to you in life? Whatever that is, whether that's death, being paralyzed, whatever, I don't know, being a vegetable, like pick the spectrum. That's the worst thing that happened in life. What's the worst thing that's going to happen if you go out on your own?
Mm-hmm.
And you said it, you fail, and then you go apply for another job. All right, maybe you're a little embarrassed, your ego's a little hurt, but that's what it comes down to. It's just that chances are you're probably not going to fail, right? If you want it bad enough, you won't fail.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find a way to make it work. You could reach out to people. And then, like you said, well, I think something wrong with society, we'll go into hundreds of thousands of debt to get a PT degree, but you won't go into $5, $10, $20,000 of debt to open up a business.
To do something that you're the most passionate about, treat the way you want to treat.
So, and I get it. And this is not to try and make everybody try and open up their own place. It's not meant for everybody. Some people don't want it. Some people aren't built for it. That's cool too. But we're just sharing, not only what we've gone through, but, maybe some barriers. And it's typically those that prevent people from doing it. You gotta risk it a little bit.
Yeah.
So what's the worst thing that, you get into PT school, you're looking at these large figures. Nobody's like, oh, what's the worst thing that happens? I fail out and I owe 60,000. Like, nobody thinks about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Look, all these people that go get undergrad degrees and they work at Starbucks,
mm-hmm.
right? Because they can't get a job in their field to go whatever. They work at Costco because they can't get a job in their field. So they go where they can at least make some income and whatever. But like, what's the worst that could happen? Right. So
it's a good point to leave off on. Unless there's some other conversations that you want to go off of in regards to this, or we can talk about maybe the pros of just staying a solopreneur. I think we've gone through the paces of obviously the pros of building a team. The cons will be if you build a team, you're responsible for that team.
People are relying on you for a paycheck for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the big companies that don't care and you're just a number and they'll cut you to balance their books.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think the smaller business owners have a little bit more compassion and empathy, and it's what weighs on the business owners that, I have 2, 3, 4 people to kind of look out for. They're relying on me or the business to go home and feed their families or just to feed themselves. So that's definitely a stressor. Can be.
My biggest
Yeah,
one,
it's
especially
you're
when I was
looking out.
starting up. I'm like, oh my God, it's not. One point I remember it was like, I just want to survive, especially.
Yeah.
So I officially started treating in December. Um, Ernie was nice enough of where I used to work. Ernie Gamble gave me 2 weeks of my sick time to kind of hold me over. So he gave me one more extra paycheck.
Nice.
So it's decent of him. But didn't really see any money, like real money, come in until February. So that mode was like, I just want to survive. I want to be able to, get this business going. I want to be able to hopefully pay for my mortgage. Brandon was nice enough to, what was it, 2 days a week, get some money going. I taught too. So definitely worked a lot of different hours, different jobs, such and so forth. But that was the original thing, just survive. And
No,
then
I always forget about that.
what,
I
that
don't
you
know
worked
why.
here?
That you worked for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I told
just
it. I told the
don't
students
even.
that.
Yeah. What happened?
Your students, I was like, I got seniority here. I'm one of the OG that worked here back in the day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which again, that's huge. So certain things like that, having someone that you can work with and bounce a ton of ideas. So some great double edge of having mentorship as well. But yeah, went from just survive to when I had my first employee, it was like, I don't know if I should bring him because God forbid it goes south or we don't keep up with it. It was like each month I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't know how our cycles were going to be. What were our busy months? What were in our busy months? And to bring someone on board, I was just like, that would be the biggest gut shot to owners. Like, listen, we brought you on, but we can't sustain you and that sort of stuff. And but thank God I haven't had to do that for anybody. But yeah, it's something that has to be on your radar and doing things to beyond just having the operations go, thinking I gotta make sure everyone's happy, even beyond like salaries, bonuses, and that sort of stuff. So making sure you're essentially the parent of the company. You have to have these conversations, see how they're doing mentally and everything like that. So that can be a burden, or hopefully you have a great team and everyone's good and they're all inspired and passionate. But yeah, those are some
Yeah.
bigger struggles. Yeah.
The biggest thing about assembling a team, especially the more that team grows, it's easy when there's like one or two people. I'm at 7 now. It's managing and understanding different personalities. Everybody has their own personality. And I think, I don't know if this is the best advice, is the way I view it, at least. I try and treat everybody the same by treating everybody differently. Everybody has, their own desires or what makes them tick, and you have to be able to understand that and be able to empathize with that. But that's not going to be the same thing as somebody else. But then there's the side of developing a system or standardizing a process so you can grow. But then does that make you too rigid or like a corporate company, which part of the reason why we don't work for the big places is we don't want that rigidity. Yeah, so you want to find that balance, and that's evolving too. I'm learning every day and every week and every month. Like, you do something, okay, it didn't work, or you implemented something and your staff didn't like it, and it's like constant reflection of, am I doing a good job? Am I failing these people? Am I it's just constant reflection.
Mhm.
I think we've been lucky enough to go through or have our residency training teach us reflection. And now we've taken that and applied it to multiple aspects of life, which have, I think, made things a little easier. With that, the pros of being solo: less stress, so to speak. You kind of come and go as you please. You don't have to answer to anybody. You don't want to work a week, you take off. You want to come in late one day, you take off. You don't have a boss to answer to. You could just you really do as you please. I remember when I first started, I would show up in like sweatpants sometimes. I was like, it's cold out. They were logoed up though. I'll be
Oh,
there. You know, I had
of
Pursuit
course.
team logo on it,
They're
sweatshirt,
slick.
like everything. So I was at least decked out, but it was like, 20 degrees outside. I was like, I'm fucking wearing sweatpants. I'm the boss. I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right or wrong, but whatever. I was able to do it, and no one's gonna say anything to me.
Anything, yeah.
People still came in.
Mhm.
Luckily, I was in a gym environment, so I guess that kind of helped
That
because
helps, yeah.
Um, but yeah, you kind of do what you want. In the summertime, I still to this day I wear shorts. It's 100 degrees out, 95 degrees out. We have AC in, but I'm wearing shorts. Like why? I'm going to be exercising or showing people movements. It's hot out. Why do I want to be sweaty in a shirt and tie, button down or whatever? Like
Mhm.
no. So you get to make those calls
Yeah.
and create a relaxed environment. So
Yeah, and less chance to split your pants. I split pair of pants windbreakers 2 days ago because we decided to play basketball. It
But
happened
who
during
who split their windbreakers?
me. So these
Oh wow.
nice athletic. They were one of my best pair of pants. They fit just right. It's great. Showed off the J Boyd calves. It was perfect. But I had them for years, and then I mop up on my new student Pat in basketball. It wasn't even basketball. It was like murder ball. Like both me and him it was like he was down on the ground more. He was reaching around me, like hopping on my back. It was my type of basketball. But that won't be the way that we play. When we play you guys there, Brandon. But
you guys play prison rules, which is fine.
yeah,
I
no,
can
it was
throw
just that
throw
one.
bows.
Me and Kim played right afterwards, and it was a clean game. But somewhere between the game between Pat and Cam, pants split open. But having more relaxed wear. I know some PTs that treat in a t-shirt and shorts all the time. Having that flexibility, and not having to answer to someone, you can become that. If you're interested in becoming that, that go-to person, that guru of your area, probably a little easier with when you're individual. And not have that stress of other individuals. I'd say your profit margins are probably more so when you have just yourself. You're only paying yourself. I think that's definitely, I know somebody who's has a practice and network, and that's where he sees 160 sessions per week by himself, which quality and that sort of stuff. But yeah, maybe that's what works for him. So I was saying, I was like, dang, your profit must be through the roof. It becomes that balance. For me, it's not as much about profit as quality.
Is he treating Saturdays too?
Apparently, from what he said to me and that sort of stuff, is he does it in I think like almost like a less than like a 40-hour work week of sorts. He does 3 long days and that sort of stuff.
Wow.
But if you're a very efficient therapist and everything like that, then there you go. And again, profit's good, but my value, what I get more joy of is, as we talked about, team and that sort of stuff. Yes, it's easy to, even now we have 3 therapists, we could easily do it with 2. But it's making sure they're all learning. And I get the value of, like, I think, one of the greatest PTs will come out from Trifecta, and I can look down the road and be like, he worked here at one point, or she worked here at one point, and look at the great things that person's doing, and you help establish that environment. But yeah, I think that's the bigger pros of being by yourself. And so I think a lot of the people, the more the flexibility as well of that, some people can work a job and then do their own side hustle by themselves on the side, versus if it's like a team approach, that needs to be your bread and butter and make that your ultimate focus. So definitely some flexibilities both ways.
Yeah, I would say, this is generally speaking, if you're wondering whether you should do it, I think there has to be a progression. I think you got to start by yourself, and you need to grow into the roles. Let's be real. Most PTs, we're taught to be PTs. We're not taught to be business owners. We're not taught to be leaders. The there's some growth that needs to happen along the way for you as a person to be able to do it. Now, if you have a different background, maybe you came from business or you've owned a business of some sort in the past, maybe you owned some personal training or strength conditioning business or whatever, you may be able to do that faster or jump right into the more team assembled things. But our profession is it's unique. So so to say, especially being able to grow a team. So I think allowing yourself, like you said before, to let it grow organically and happen organically is probably the best model. Probably start solo, add on as you can grow, and then you could go from there instead of starting to try and do it, empire off the bat. Rome wasn't built in a day type of deal. And I know you and I were like, oh yeah, we'll do X, Y, and Z. Like the initial growth happens fast.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you get to, a baseline number pretty quickly. It's now maintaining that and then growing that's the harder part.
Yep. And the ever changing, especially evolution of like today's medical world and insurance world. If you go down that route, maintaining it. I mean, if you do a good enough work and you're passionate about it, it'll grow. Just like Brandon says, it goes. Yeah, it's just more maintaining that, especially when you grow it solo, passing that off to the next person. People become almost reliant on you. Like, no. Someone said, I guess, see Dr. Cruz or Dr. Boyd. How do you relay? Like, no, I train these individuals. They're just as good as me. Treat them. I'm sure you'll have as great of experience as you did with me and that sort of stuff. And that's really the art of leadership and growing a team. So that's another challenge in itself. But
yeah, which is it grows. It's levels. It's different. As you try and grow and do different things, you have to learn a different skill set. And you need to be able to be ready for that change and growth. And as you grow, people don't like change. It's hard to and we're creatures of habit. As much as people say they like being spontaneous and they're this and they're flexible, they're not. I'll give you an example. I bought a new table the other day for the clinic, and trying to think of some foresight as we grow over the next year. Hopefully we continue to grow. I pushed the tables to the wall.
Yes,
probably like 12 inches. And you would have thought I killed somebody. Like, oh my God, people were just up in arms. I was like, just like let it be for a little bit, let it settle in, and then we can make a decision. But the initial knee-jerk reaction is no, because it's different.
I thought it made a place look nice and open. I thought you gained more space.
Yeah, but it was like, oh no, I don't like this. Even patients were like, oh no, what's going on? Like, calm down. It's okay.
There always gonna be a little resistance. You got pushed through that. Just with our patients too. You're starting to move them and that sort of stuff. The body's a little resistant. Sometimes you gotta do that. Just keep pushing. Unless everyone really does hate it for a multiple period of time and constantly reference the old days and
then you make a change. But all right. I got the eval I gotta jump onto, so we'll end there. Like I said, we'll probably host another one of these, but I think that's good for today.
Awesome. So as we guess alluded to before, I guess we have our last course for 2022. This episode won't release before that, but our flagship spinal manipulations course, December 4th and 5th at Brandon's place, with the tables all changed over. And then our 2021, our 2022 schedule will be out shortly. We got some real fun stuff coming up for this year. And any
new ACL course made by yours truly there, Jeremy Boyd. So check that out. 2-day management course, progressive, utilizing manual therapy to increase, knee extension or flexion, actual real exercises, functional exercises, sport exercises, progressions, return to play, all that good stuff.
testing, video
Yeah.
breakdowns,
Yeah.
psychology of the ACL. So it should be an awesome course. I hope it should be. And then
It will be. It will be.
there we go. And then we have all our awesome courses that we've had in the past: neurodynamics, cervical thoracic management, lumbo-pelvic management, peripheral manipulation, spinal manipulations, shoulder management. Am I missing any?
Mm.
That's it.
I can't remember at this point right now.
So
yeah, we have 8, right? Yeah, that's
So.
8. Yeah, we have quite the robust menu of courses.
menu, I like that. Nice. A la carte. All right. Well, yeah, hopefully we see you guys at some. If you want any further business mentorship, feel free to reach out to us. Our social media handles will be at the end of the show, and at the Rehab Coaches, which is more of our business mentorship platform. And yeah, hope to get in touch with you guys soon. Thanks for listening in, and cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys.